Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Darksiders Genesis for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch, and Google Stadia. Darksiders Genesis is not only a prequel to the overall Darksiders lore, but also is a spin-off with a more Diablo-esque presentation compared to the previous entries in the series, with a story that focuses on two members of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, in this case War, who has been a part of the Darksiders series for quite a while, and Strife, who also has been a part of the Darksiders series but hasn't been playable until this time, join forces in an effort to stop Lucifer from empowering demons who are making a deal with the devil. They have to go through these various stages of hell and this top-down three-quarter camera angle presentation that actually works fairly well. The player who can switch between War and Strife at any time during an enemy encounter can mix melee attacks, these nice combo enders, certain special abilities that you gain as you progress through the story, like this boomerang technique that War has compared to the grab technique that actually both individuals have. And then you have your Wraith abilities that are special to each character. Strife is more of a lightweight fighter, very agile, doesn't hit as hard as War does, and takes damage a lot easier, but with a pair of pistols he's able to shoot and even charge certain ammo to deliver some devastating attacks. War, as I said, is the big bulking brute powerhouse character that can take damage, deliver damage in great amounts, can also block big attacks unlike Strife, but may not be able to dash and dodge incoming attacks better than Strife, which means that certain adversaries, including sub and big bosses, are better suited for specific characters. Now, this game also has a co-op function. You can play both online and locally. Locally is a split screen, of course, that makes it a little bit tough to figure out everything that's going on. You have to really pay attention to your side of the screen, especially when you're involved in a big cluster battle, but it's nice to have local co-op. The online functionality, while I haven't had the chance to play that much of it, isn't very good. It takes a lot of work to try to get an online co-op partner that isn't a friend. Online functionality when it comes to that co-op option isn't for the best if you don't have a dedicated player alongside you ready to sit down and take their time with blasting through this game, because it's not a small game with up to 17 stages plus this special arena that you unlock later on in the game. As I said, the camera angle does present something of a problem in co-op. It also presents something of a problem, though very minor in my opinion, when it comes to the platforming sections. Sometimes it's difficult to judge what kind of height and what kind of angle that is needed to make that particular jump, and sometimes you might need a special ability to do so. This has that Metroidvania style presentation when it comes to certain areas. Doors and specific chests can't be unlocked unless the player has a specific item. Some items can be bought at the various vendors, others have to be found. So you will, if you want to get 100%, be tracking back to find out, or at least try to memorize, where these specific areas are. The map does a fairly good job of marking when it comes to locked items, but even with that, the map is very much a 2D old school style map that isn't the most intrusive, but it also isn't the best of help. The vendors can also provide extra abilities that can be purchased, mostly passive abilities like regenerating health and adding a little bit of power to their melee or wraith attacks. The player has the opportunity to use the creature cores that are found from downed enemies to make their own skill tree, to boost their own ratings. And really, when it comes to a lot of the adversaries, it doesn't feel like it's a big necessity. You don't have to mix and match too much to stay on top of things, especially on normal difficulty, but it does add a nice little bit of RPG flavor. From a technical aspect, beyond the camera issues, there are some frame rate drops I noticed, especially on the PS4 version, that really makes no sense as to why it's happening. I've had them happen during just moments of walking around an area. not when the screen is massively full with a bunch of enemies. Beyond that, I haven't had any big crashes, any broken missions, or just the general feel that the game is not polished enough. Overall, it's a solid game, a very fun hack and slash Diablo style experience that one doesn't come at a full $60 price tag as well. It is treated as a spin-off, but yet gives you what really is a full game experience. I think Darksiders fans will enjoy this iteration fairly well, if not more than I did. And for the intrigued that are unfamiliar with the franchise, I say definitely give it a rental. It's one of those games that doesn't take too long to explain to the player what you're about to be offered. And if you enjoy the first chapter, which is pretty much an hour, then you will more than likely enjoy the rest of the game that I've experienced thus far. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. Darksiders Genesis for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch, and Google Stadia. Now, if you don't mind, I have a precious stone to retrieve to get some information, but first I will have to slay this gigantic monster of a beast that is trying to block my path, and with the holiest of attacks, I will slay this mammoth demon and make this beast cry out, "Oh Lordy!"